In this hand, Tony G is in the straddle and Taisto opens in early position. Tony G defends, and on the 10-10 deuce board, he checks and ends up calling a pretty small bet. The turn is the 9 of diamonds, and Tony checks again. After thinking for a little bit, Taisto fires a pretty big bet, which Tony G calls very quickly. And on a 4 of clubs river, he checks again. Taisto thinks about it for a little bit, and he ends up going for all the chips. Tony G thinks about it, sees all the missed draws. He goes for the call and gets the bad news. Flopped trips will beat his pair of 9s to net a massive pot going Taisto's way. On to number 4, we've got an open from Free Nachos in the cutoff. Tony G 3 bets in the small blind, and Free Nachos will elect to just call this bet. Queen 7 Jack Rainbow flop. Tony G checks, and Free Nachos elects to check back. King of Diamonds falls on the turn, and this time Tony G bets pretty quickly for a pot-sized bet. Free Nachos calls in position. The river is a 6 of clubs, and Tony G has about pot left behind. In his stack, he checks, and Free Nachos goes all in. Tony G thinks for a little bit and goes for the call with the King 10. His top pair will beat the missed flush draw Free Nachos. On to number 3. Free Nachos 3 bets Taisto on the button, and Tony G cold calls from the big blind. Taisto elects to call as well, giving us a multi-way pot here. And on a King 9-5 2 spades boards, Tony G in the big blind leads out for a pot-sized bet. Free Nachos goes for a call in position, and after the 7 of hearts rolls out on the turn, the action is back on Tony G, who goes for the overbet all in. Free Nachos thinks for a while and ends up calling with the nut flush draw, and Tony G again had the king, the top pair, and he wins another big one. On to number 2, we're heads up, and absolute top up opens on the button. Tony G goes for the 3 bets, and absolute top up goes for the call. 3 deuce 9 2 diamonds is the flop, and Tony G fires 33% of the pot. Absolute top up to call in position. 7 of hearts rolls out on the turn, and Tony G fires half pot this time. Absolute top up with the call again. River is the 3 of hearts. Absolute top up checks, and now Tony G has a decision to make on the river. He goes for it all and gets snap called, and it's a set over set cooler with absolute top up winning a massive pot. On to number 1, Tony G is in the straddle. Brown Bala opens on the button. Action gets folded around to Tony G, who calls. Queen 9-5 2 diamonds. Tony G checks, and Brown Bala checks back. Turn is a 6 of spades. Tony G fires out a pot-sized bet, and Brown Bala will just call this. The river is the 8 of hearts, and Tony G fires again a pot-sized bet. Brown Bala thinks for a little bit, and he jams over the top here for almost $20,000. Tony G thinks for a little bit, and he ends up calling and loses with a straight over straight here. Brown Bala holding the nuts on this river card. That's it for today's top 5 plays. We're just getting started with the Cash Game World Championship, so make sure to subscribe now to catch all the biggest hands and best moments as they happen.